Hello, everyone. My name is Mathoma from Botswana. I'm here to give you a brief presentation on our study that we conducted here in country. And this is the title of our abstract, Evaluation of Vaccine and Non-Vaccine Type Human Papillomavirus among young adult women living with and without HIV in Botswana for future human papillomavirus vaccine impact monitoring. I'm going to take you through the introduction where I'll give you a brief background of our study and then go through the methods and results sections and finally conclusion. As you might be aware, Botswana was the second country in Africa to roll out the HPV vaccination program. And this journey started in 2015 as part of the National Strategy for Cervical Cancer Control and Prevention, where a 2-dose schedule of the quadrivalent vaccine was introduced among girls aged 9 to 13 years and subsequently among those aged 9. Reduction in the prevalence of HPV vaccine targeted types has been observed within 2 to 5 years after HPV vaccine introduction in high-income countries. However, in the low and middle-income countries or those with high HIV prevalence, Botswana included, there is little or virtually no information available on vaccine impact. We therefore sought to determine through our study the HPV prevalence among unvaccinated young women in Botswana, including those living with and without HIV, as a baseline to inform Botswana's future vaccine impact evaluation. In this slide, I just want to show you that even though the HPV vaccination program in Botswana began in 2015, a baseline HPV prevalence can be established among women aged 18 to 22 years. If you look at this table, in the first row, in 2015, this is when the vaccination program started, and the cohort of girls vaccinated were aged 9 to 13 years. And in the second row, this is when our baseline study started in 2019. And you can see that the cohort of vaccinated girls were aged 13 to 17 years, while the unvaccinated cohort that enrolled in the study were aged 18 to 22 years. In 2024, you can see that the vaccinated cohort will now reach 18 to 22 years. And this is where we propose a follow-up study that will allow for evaluation of the impact of the vaccination program in the country. A cross-sectional assessment of women aged 18 to 22 years was carried out, and these women were recruited from the University of Botswana and HIV clinics in Gaborone from October 2019 through January 2021. We conducted structured interviews where the women enrolled self-reported their demographic and behavioral characteristics, and we also abstracted their HIV clinical data from the medical records. The enrollees were instructed on how to self-collect vaginal swabs, and these were tested in the lab for 28 HPV types using Seegene Aniplex 2 HPV 28. We then determined the prevalence of vaccine types 6, 11, 16, and 18, as well as the non-vaccine type prevalence as listed here. And we compared these prevalences among women living with HIV and those without HIV. These are the results of our study. A total of 806 women were enrolled, and out of this, 306, which is 38%, were women living with HIV, while 62% were without HIV infection. The results showed that women living with HIV were more likely to be older, with a median age of 21 versus 19, more likely to be sexually experienced, report 5 or more lifetime sex partners, and also report a current sex partner aged 30 years and above. We also determined from our study that HPV prevalences were significantly higher among women living with HIV compared to those without HIV for both vaccine and non-vaccine types. And when the analysis was restricted to sexually experienced women, HPV prevalence remained higher among women with HIV. In conclusion, Overall, over 1/3 of women living with HIV and nearly a quarter of those without had vaccine type HPV detected. We conclude that this study provides important baseline data to evaluate impact of the HPV vaccination program in Botswana. With HPV vaccination coverage over 90% in Botswana, we expect the program to dramatically reduce vaccine type HPV infection and future HPV-associated cancers among all women. This brings me to the end of my presentation, and thank you for your attention.